大家好，我叫 Rachel， 很高兴认识你们。我是一名基督徒，我住在美国。每天我喜欢跑步、看书、做饭和学习中文。我有3只宠物，2只兔子和1条鱼。你叫什么名字
？Hello guys, welcome back to another video, specifically another Chinese language learning video. So I'm super pumped for this one because we will be learning how to introduce ourselves in Chinese. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to say your name, say a greeting, talk a little bit about yourself, and be well prepared to go out there and start speaking Chinese. If you are interested, there's also some other videos on the channel related to Chinese language learning, such as how to learn Chinese super fast, tips for a helpful Chinese study routine, some ideas for studying HSK level 1, and also how to learn Chinese characters. So feel free to go check those videos out, but for now, let's jump into introductions. So we'll start out with the basic hello. I'm sure you have heard this before. It's incredibly popular, heard it on TV or people just saying it. But to say hello in Chinese, you say 你好. Now, as in other videos on the channel, we talk about how important tones are since Chinese is a tonal language. So to say hello correctly, you're going to say 你 as you're going up, like up with your voice, 你. And then 好 is a lower tone. So you're going to kind of go in a dipping motion, 好. So, 你好. And I will talk a little bit about this. So even though the tones you can see are both those dip shapes, when you have 2 dip shapes, which is the 3rd tone, back to back, the first one turns into a rising tone. So that's why it's pronounced 你好. So up and then dipping. Now this is just, the basic casual way to say hello to one person. If you were saying hello to multiple people, you can change it to 你们好, which is the plural form, or something more common to say and something that I prefer to say is 大家好, which means hello everyone. A few other basic greeting phrases that you might want to know when you are introducing yourself could be saying things like good morning, good afternoon, or good evening / good night. So to say good morning, you can say one of 2 things. The first one would be 早上好. Now remember, pay attention to the tones here. So 早 Shang. Shang is a falling tone, so you're going to be going downwards with it. 早上好. And we already know the last word from 你好, so you're set with that. The second way to say good morning in Chinese is a bit shorter. It's 早安, so that also means good morning. And then for good evening or for good night, you can say 晚上好. So 晚上 means evening. And then altogether, 晚上好 means good evening / good night. You can also kind of like good morning, shorten it to 晚安, 晚安. Now, once we have our greetings down pat, we can say hello and good morning or good evening. So, 你好, 早上好, hello, good morning. We can introduce ourselves with our names. So there are also a couple of ways to do this. One way is saying my name is, which literally the translation is I am called. So you're going to say 我叫 and then your name. So 我 means me or I. 叫 means to be called or to be named. And then you insert your name. So for me, it would be 我叫 Rachel. For you, it would be 我叫 and then your name. You can also, however, just say 我是 Rachel, which means I am Rachel, or 我是 and then your name. Either way works. Now that we know our names, we can talk a little bit more about who we are. So maybe you can say your occupation or your position or identity. For you, you might be a student. You can say 我是学生, which means I am a student. Or you can insert other occupational titles in there as well. If you're a teacher, you could say 我是老师. Or I'm trying to think of some other examples. You could say I'm a doctor, 我是医生, etc., etc. So putting it all together, so far we have 你好, 早上好, 我叫 Rachel, 我是学生. So those are some of the very basics, introducing your name, a greeting, and then just something very general about yourself. So now someone might want to know a little bit more, so we can go into further detail with a couple more things. So you might want to share where you live or where you're from. If you want to say where you're from or where you live, you can say 我住在 and then the place where you live currently. So for me, 我住在美国. I live in America. For you, maybe you live in, let's just pick Italy. So you would say 我住在意大利. So you can just insert anything after 住在 if it's a location or place where you live. And now we can get into some fun things, fun topics. So hobbies, likes, dislikes, things like that. You count how many times I said like in that sense. In the introduction to this video, I talked about pets, so I chose that topic. What I said was that I have 3 pets. So if you have pets as well, you might want to use this sentence. 我有3只宠物. I have 我有. Keep in mind the tones there. 3只, 3. Now, the number 3 is 3, but when you are putting it in front of a noun, for example, like pets, you need a measure word. And measure words change depending on the subject or what comes after it. So it is important to keep that in mind. And there's too many to go over for this video right now, but for the majority of animals, not all of them, but some of them, the measure word here is 只. Not to get too technical right now, but just know that there are different measure words for different things. And then 宠物 means pets. So 我有3只宠物. I have 3 pets. Something a little easier to start out with, though, might just be talking about your likes, so we can learn the word for like. That is 喜欢. So you can say 我喜欢, which means I like, and then ... insert something that you like or enjoy. So, for example, if you like to go on runs, you can say 我喜欢跑步. I like to run. Or if you like to cook, you can say 我喜欢做饭. I like to cook. If you are a reader, you can say 我喜欢看书. I like to read books. If you like to play sports, like golf, you can say 我喜欢打高尔夫球. I like to play golf. So that's just a fun way to further detail some more things about yourself when you're being introduced to someone. And finally, we want to know more about the other person you're talking about. So it's important to know how to ask questions. The first question you might want to know is what their name is. So you can say 你叫什么名字? Which means you are called. So 你叫, you're called. 什么 is the word for what. So 你叫什么? You're called what. And then 名字 means name. So you're asking what their name is. 你叫什么名字? What is your name? And then a bonus question I'll give you that you can ask someone in Chinese is what they like to do. So you can say 你喜欢做什么? You like to do what? 你喜欢做什么? So now we're going to practice putting everything together and introducing ourselves completely in Chinese. So here we go. See if you can follow along. 你好,早上好,我叫 Rachel, 我是学生,我住在美国,我有3只宠物,我喜欢跑步、看书、做饭和学习中文。你叫什么名字？太好了！ Now you can introduce yourself in Chinese. Just keep practicing and making sure you're speaking it verbally out loud, and you will be well on your way to not only speaking this type of introduction, this very simple way to introduce yourself in Chinese, but you'll be able to add more details too onto it. Anyway, I am super excited for you and want to encourage you to continue on your language journey as you study Chinese and learn more and more every day. Hopefully this video was helpful in some form or fashion. Be sure to check out some of the others on the channel for more tips and study advice for learning the Chinese language. I am so glad that you are here today. Make sure to like and subscribe if you wish, and I will see you in the next one. 加油,再见!